Coming up on our Finding Better podcast, Lillian Savoie is joining me, and we're going to talk about designing a life you love by listening to your spirit. And yes, every single one of us has a spirit. And we're going to give you practical things you could do every single day that are easy, that are impactful, and that you are going to feel. So thank you for joining us. Please share this. Here we go. Hello, 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 and welcome back to our Finding Better podcast. My name is John Suzuki, and I am your host. And Finding Better is where we share real life experiences. We don't share opinions, we don't share academics, we don't share theories. It's all about real live experiences because we believe that sometimes the best path to success is to follow in the footsteps of folks who've been there and done that. And it's just so much fun. So with me today, I have Lillian Savoie. Lillian, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, perfect. So let me give everybody a little bit of your introduction. We are going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, and I think is near and dear to my audience's heart, and that is designing a life you love. And what we're going to talk about today is designing a life you love by listening to your spirit, which is really cool. We all have one. And while we're going to be talking largely about women, we're also it applies to men. Thank you, Lillian, because I want to learn from this too. And so, what Lillian does, she helps women create lives full of purpose and love by creating new balance in their personal and work lives. Wow. Who doesn't want that? She has learned to create what she wants when she wants it, which is way cool. Everything she's done, everything we're going to talk about and everything she teaches, she's done herself. She's an intuitive coach with certifications. Get this, certifications in energy healing, yoga, dance, and gong therapy. This is going to be so cool. She's also the author of Fill Your Soul the Feminine Way. And she has her own podcast called Awaken Change. It's all about trusting the universe and understanding your inner spirit. Lillian, this is going to be fun. This is going to be amazing. All right.
Yeah, this is super fun.
So tell us a little bit about your story and how you got into doing what you're doing now.
Well, our growth always comes from challenging times, right? So the challenging time was when I was, living my high point in Colorado, married, child, house, car, everything going on track, and then the big blow up. All of a sudden, especially as women, as soon as, we have a child, it's like our hormones change. And then all of a sudden, I just remember looking at my husband back then thinking, well, I have my baby. So now what?
I'll tell you something. I mean, um, I'm not gonna come across in any way of feeling like I understand clearly the differences between women and men because I do not. But I'll tell you something. I watch what my wife goes through. I watch what my daughter goes through. I watch what my female friends go through.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say to myself, thank God I was born a man.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it just is, it's amazing. And, when you think about work-life balance, there's a very different definition to work-life balance between men and women. Um,
Definitely.
and
I
so,
100% agree. I
right,
just lived it yesterday. I mean, it really is. It's hard to describe too because it's a feeling. It's like a little buzzing or this kind of drive, especially if I do work with a lot of men because I am driven, right? So I have this drive, but then when you tone it down to be the wife or the mother or all of your archetypes, it's
right.
just like this vibe that's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
And guys don't have that. Guys don't have that, right? I mean, I
You'll
I'm
have
just
it
like,
for work.
man, I am going to work. I'm going to work. I'm
Yeah,
going to work. And then my wife, and God bless her. I mean, there really is a God, knowing that, we're going on our 40-year anniversary next year. And
that
um,
congratulations.
thank you. And what she puts up with, but in art, we're both retired now. And
Okay.
what we went through, what she went through, I mean, I worked hard. She worked hard. We both worked in high tech. She worked for IBM, Microsoft. I worked for IBM and Sun Micro. Anyway, all in high tech. Very, very stressful.
Yeah,
And I'd
very.
come home after a hard day at work, and she'd come and I'd sit on the sofa. She'd come back from an equally hard day at work and start cooking dinner
Yeah.
and taking care of the kids. And I would I'd help, sort of, kind of, right?
Yeah.
But she was just on it. She just on it that whole time. And I see that she's not necessarily unique, and neither am I, from a man and woman standpoint. So, when
Yeah.
when we were talking about getting together and come you having you on Finding Better, I mean, this is, guys, if you, I hope you guys didn't hang up on this, right? Because sorry, I was going to call you Jillian. Lillian is not only going to teach us the stuff that we can apply to our own lives, and not just for women, but to help us understand women. Hopefully, there's a nugget or two in
And
here.
then we
You know,
can learn about men. See, the beauty about seeing the my male, clients and stuff is that usually I've been through the scenario with my husband or my
Mhm.
ex-husband. So I'm like, "Oh, been here before. That's why you're walking through my door. That's why we're talking on the phone. Been there, done that." It's always not the same. Everybody's unique, but it's the same general theme, which is what you and I are talking about.
Right, right. And the fact of the matter is, as much as some people want to say and want to believe that men and women are the same,
Hmm.
they're not.
No,
Guys, snap out of it. We're not the same, and thank goodness for that, right?
I
And
think
really,
so.
so I'm sorry. Lest I digress. Um, but you were talking about your journey, and your whole life. You had everything going on. You had the
Yeah.
family. You had the happy marriage. You had kids.
Yeah. And then all
Then
of a
what
sudden
what
it turned
happened?
into an unhappy marriage and single motherhood and a move across the country with no, coming back to my roots here in Louisiana, and which was a blessing and a curse at the same time, right? Because I left the beautiful mountains of Colorado where everything is like a dream life. And then you come back here and you're like, wait, why is the water brown? Why is everybody spraying pesticides? Why? You have so many questions when you're raised on the other side of the world.
But Colorado doesn't have beignets, so there you go.
They don't have beignets, they don't have crawfish, they don't,
That's
they
right. That's
really,
right. That's the whole balance right there.
that's the balance. And the Southern charm from
Yeah.
men in Louisiana is a real thing. But also, what's real is that there are more evolved men and women out on the West because it comes, from West to Central and from East to Central, so we kind of meet in the middle in the swamp. And so
In
you
the
know,
swamps of Louisiana.
it's really the swamp of people.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, the swamp of people. And I remember I was in the banking business. I was in mortgage lending for years and years, and that was my first, you know, um, long career in lending. And so, because I love math, I love numbers, I love investing, I love that kind of stuff, even though, I couldn't pass the CFA exam or anything like that. I still have a little love for it. And then I got into banking, and I remember moving to Louisiana and having this amazing job. And I remember the women hating me. And I was like, why do they hate me? I'm
Huh.
just a banker. I'm not a threat. I'm just a banker, like nothing substantial. And it was what I realized over the long haul was people just needed to have like more healing, more love, and to get out of this patriarchal like system, the system where we're taught like, okay, the man can do everything and the man is up at the top and the man's making the money and all that stuff. And I did not come home that much later. I mean, that was only in 2010. And I feel like the world has been like revamped like 5 times since then.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But in some places, not so much,
Some places not so much.
right?
So I really wanted to kind of start my own business. And I was like, I got to get out of this patriarchal system that's going on here that's still like hush hush.
And was
It
that
was,
was that was that why the women hated you? Was because you didn't fit that mold.
I didn't fit the mold.
You came back home and you were a different person,
I was a
and
hippie.
you were a hippie. You were
I
a
was a
you were
hippie
well, you were a woman who wanted to do things, who wanted to have a career, right?
who was having a career. And in Denver,
Yeah.
you didn't get hated on by the other women because they were also driving and
Right, right.
cheating and driving and cheating. It's like that cycle. And you come home and you're like, wait a minute. Well, I've already had my kid. I don't need to like settle down and have a kid and have a house and a car. I had that.
Hmm.
So now what?
Yeah.
There was not a lot of support for now what? Now what? So it's
Okay.
like I had to be that support system, not only for me, but for the women that were coming into my life. Now what? Okay, they've been married. All right, now they're bored. They've had the kid. Now they have that buzz telling them what to do. Now they have their car, they have their purses, they have their luxury items. Now what?
Yep. Yep.
It's like,
And a lot of people go through that. And men also go through that too, right?
yeah. I
Sometimes in
watched
the form of a,
my new husband, well, he's not new anymore, right? But I watched him go through it just 2 years ago. The
yeah,
entire revamp of his life.
yeah.
Some people call a
And
midlife crisis, but he did not buy a sports car. We bought a boat, which has been a lemon for, so we haven't gotten any enjoyment out of it. No, I'm
well,
kidding. We've gotten,
everybody has to buy a boat. Yeah, the
oh,
two best days of a boat owner's life is the day you buy it and the day you sell it. That's it. There's
we're working on part two, John. We're working on it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to laugh at your expense. Okay, go ahead.
That's okay. I don't mind it. I really think that humor is part of the biggest healing tools you can probably bring in your life. Because if you can't laugh at the absurdity of whatever's going on in your life, you're missing out on something. Because whether it's your marriage sucking right now, or your kids are tearing apart your house, or you're, overweight by 50 pounds, if you can't laugh at some of these absurdities of the human experience, you're not going to get very far in this life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is, you guys write that down. Laugh more. Right?
Laugh more.
Laugh more.
Literally
Smile
at
more.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lillian, you started off saying we grow through our challenges, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that of itself, starting this episode with that statement was just, that was amazing. And, but, everybody knows that, but a lot of people don't realize it, right?
Yeah.
And so as you're going through life, it's our choice on how they say shit's going to happen. The only question is how you're going to react to it,
I love
right?
that.
And so
Yes.
yeah, and if you can't laugh at yourself, figure it out. Figure out how to laugh
Figure
at
out how to
yourself.
laugh.
And you guys, I'm laughing at myself all the time. I mean, you just got to have fun with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, very good.
Yeah. And I remember this exercise that we did in one of my spiritual groups, because spirituality is very different in every part of the world, so
Yes.
that word is very confusing and stuff. But when in my, evolution and learning and all that kind of stuff, everything was just labeled spiritual because growing up, everything was labeled religious. So now I just
Mm-hmm.
call everything spiritual. And I remember in a group that was teaching and we laughed. All we did was force ourselves to laugh. So we lay in a circle and we would just be like and all these women are just laughing, okay? All these different laughs and all of a sudden we're all in like full belly laughs, just
Isn't that amazing?
releasing our energy. I mean, we probably learned that in kindergarten from some teacher, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
But that's what we did.
Yeah, and it works. It's like you said, it's when you've if you've never been introduced to this of just the idea of laugh, and if you can do it in a group, it really becomes contagious. I mean, everybody's experienced it, right? I mean, try
Yeah.
not to laugh when you're not supposed to laugh, like when you're in a lecture or you're at church. One person starts giggling, you
Yeah.
cannot giggle, right?
So true.
And you just say, okay, everybody. Um, I know everybody's not in a very good mood right now. We're just gonna laugh.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, "What? God, somehow that works, doesn't it?"
It works.
It's
And it's just
crazy.
like taking a bath. I think that taking a bath also works just as well because a lot of people don't want to bathe like in their own funk. But if you look at it like I'm bathing off my stuff, my mood, the people around me, everything in the office today, everything in my house, like, and when I splash the
Ew.
water, I just say, I'm cleaning my aura, I'm cleansing my energy field. And I did that before we talked today. I'm sure my family thanks me for taking a bath, but it's like you do the bath with intention, just like with intention, not to just like,
Oh,
I need to get clean. I'm stinky. It's like, no, I'm actually energetically cleansing myself on purpose to be a better version of myself when I exit the tub.
so listening to you, I'm thinking, "Whoa, that is cool." But I'm sure there are folks out there listening going, "What?"
That's crazy.
So
Right.
explain what happens. Because,
Well, so now, John, you
yeah.
get like an insight of my life. Okay. It's like
Okay, well,
people,
yeah.
you
That's what I
know,
want.
I know, but it's just so funny because you're so right on. It's like, okay, you're effing crazy because you're talking about your aura. But I'm like, but really, I'm not because it's been around for millions of years.
Hmm.
And so what we have to do is we have to take that million-year-old knowledge, right, from some guru on the top of a mountain, and we have to bring it into our own bathtub. Okay. So what we do is in our field, we have an aura, we have an energetic field, right? So we are mind, body, and spirit, as you know.
Yep,
Yeah.
totally.
Okay. So we're basically taking care of our energy, our spirit, by doing a daily cleanse off. Now, you can do this in the shower if you're not a shower person, but you do it with intention. And so you let the shower kind of hit the top of your head, which is your crown chakra. And then I take an inhale, and then I just really feel the water like cleansing every pore of my scalp, going all the way down the body, all the way into the drain. And if you want to take a good look, you look down at the drain and you wash all your worries away. And so,
Ooh.
yeah, so I mean, you could be a shower person and do it that way. But if we don't take care of our energetic body, which is there's little layers in our energetic body. We have like our auric field, and then we have our mental, physical, spiritual, and etheric, right? Where obviously this is our physical. And we have to take care of each of those layers of our energy, or we just grow old in, let's say we're doing our physical workouts. Let's say our career's good, we're making money. Let's say we have a good marriage and we're working on it with our partner and doing all the mind stuff. But let's say we do no work in our energy, like none. So
Okay.
then what happens is like mysterious things creep in. So you have random pains that no one can solve, right? No doctor can solve it. You don't have cancer, you're not dying, nothing's wrong, but you're just in pain, right? Because you've done part of the work, but not all of the work. So we are energy, as we know. We are. They
Yes.
have,
Yes.
right? I mean, I'm not a big person of like, I need to be, you need to prove it to me. I am not that person because I go by feeling a lot. So you don't need to prove it to me. I just need to practice it, or I need to do it for myself and then, learn about it. Um, but we are so much energy that I believe that we can really heal ourselves even if we work on the energy body. Like I was kind of in a bad mood before this podcast, and my husband was kind of in a bad mood, and we both work from home, which has been kind of challenging but new in our relationship. And so he's all pissy. He's having a tech challenge, which he never has a tech challenge. I'm like, ugh, I'm just trying to like write down my intentions here and get in my spiritual bubble.
And you're like, oh
So
my
we're,
God, I gotta talk to John, man.
and then I was like, you know what? Husband left for the gym. And I'm like, I gotta go take a bath. I gotta go get my energy right. I gotta like clear my mind and do a little mantra work and maybe some vitamin C. And then boom, here I am. It literally takes a 10-minute shift sometimes to heal your whole self. And I want really people to realize that it does not, we do not need a life-changing transformation retreat. We just sometimes need to retreat and take care of ourselves for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, regroup, and come back out into the world.
You know, what you just said at the end is that you don't have to go to some retreat, right? And one of the things,
I mean, I love
you know,
retreats. I
I
think you
do
should go
too.
on
I do too.
retreats, but you don't have
But
to.
what
Yeah.
you just introduced is, retreats are great, but retreat into yourself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because,
Right.
one of the things like you, I've amazing, amazing guests on my podcast. And one of the things that I've learned as a pattern is, everybody thinks happiness is out there. It's out there somewhere, right? It's out there. I have to go someplace or I have to do something or I have to search for the meaning of life. It's out
Right.
there somewhere. It's not. It's right here. I mean,
Yeah.
you can hug it, right? And yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
right. I mean, everybody try
It's
doing
true.
that. It actually feels good. But yeah, yeah, that is amazing. I never thought about that. But as you were talking, I was envisioning myself in a shower. I know it's a visual nobody wants, but I'm visualizing myself and doing what you said and just kind of letting the bullshit of the day just kind of rinse off and watch it go down the drain, right?
Yeah, just a
I mean,
little bit of change. You'll feel
just a little
different.
bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Instead
So
of,
let
oh my
me,
God, I need to
yeah,
wash my hair, or I
yeah,
hate all these people. No, no, no. It's like, okay,
yeah. Or
it's
you're washing
just,
your hair saying, I hate all these people.
yeah. It's like,
Just
okay.
relax.
And I don't know about you, but I get some really good intuitive messages with water, shower, river, bathtub, lake. Water brings really, really good, important messages, really good messages. Like I was trying to, I'm launching a group program and in a community. It's not a program. I'm launching a community. It's literally been 4 years in the works. Okay. I've had to work through so many fears and so much ego, torturing me and everything. And I've had so many distractions come up. And today I just sat with it and I said, here are my intentions. Here's what is really going out into the world. There was no dollar sign attached to it. There's no quota. There's no nothing. It was just feelings. But I had to be alone for like an hour for me to really get out those feelings. And how many times do we really allow ourselves to have that silent, uninterrupted, no phone, no Facebook, no kids, so you can get out your genius, your magic, you know?
I um I interviewed a young woman. Her name is Saveti Rue, and just a wonderful, wonderful human being. And she has spent a big part of her life traveling solo
Oh,
by
whoa.
herself. 33 countries she's traveled solo.
Wow.
And she started this journey because, she was just so unhappy. She
Mhm.
was living the life of other people's expectations. That's another whole thing that we could talk about.
Oh,
But
yeah.
setting that
Another
aside,
day.
and she just decided, I'm going to hop on an airplane. I'm just going to go. And one of the things she said, there is a world of difference between loneliness and solitude.
Mm,
And what you're talking
beautiful.
about is giving yourself the gift of a little bit of solitude. And you know
Yeah.
what? None of us do that. As she was
Yeah.
talking, she asked me, she says, "When's the last time you did something by yourself for yourself? And you just went to a coffee shop just because you wanted to be with yourself?" I said,
Yeah.
"I've never done that." you know and she says try it, try it. You don't have to go to a new country to experience this. And that's what you just said.
Yeah, and I'm one of those that gets kind of uncomfortable going into public places and sitting by myself and like,
Yeah.
because then I feel like I have to be like doing something, like drinking my coffee the right way or eating my salad without it going all over my face or, something the right way. So I definitely prefer solitude at home because I can just have my husband kind of makes fun of me. I always have like a coffee, tea, water, green juice. Like I have four juices, and my journal. I have scribble notes. I just tacked something on my wall this morning. And it's like, but that is how we get to know ourselves. And yesterday I was getting all antsy because we were spending time with our niece and nephew, and they're twins and they're age 4, which is the best age ever.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
yes,
God,
yes.
they just love you so much at
Yeah,
4. It's like you
yeah.
can do no wrong. They eat whatever, they play whatever. It was just a magic. But at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, okay, I need to like get to work. And like, and I didn't get it until today, which is my work. What I needed in my head was an hour of really quiet time with my spirit. That was really what work was for me. That's how my
Hmm.
day started. And what if we all did that? What if we spent, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour a day with our spirit? People would be happy, rich, and loved. They really would be if we gave ourselves that much time.
You
Anyway, it's
know,
just a good goal to have, I
it,
guess,
it-
maybe.
but I mean, maybe there's a way, because we live in such a world of chaos. I mean, there's all kinds of words that can describe it, right?
Yeah.
There's always the next thing,
Yes.
and we're never happy. And it's a rat race. It really is a rat race. And, once you accomplish that thing that you think is going to make you happy, it's off to the next thing that's going to make you happy.
It's so
When you,
true.
right? And it just, I realized long ago that the only way to get off the hamster wheel is to be happy with what you already have.
Yeah.
And if you can't be happy with what you already have, and it's just a state of mind, folks. It's a mindset. You're always going to be looking for that next thing. And 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 I don't want to hang out with a bunch of rats. It just I so I just decided long ago, um, to learn to be grateful, to learn to be grateful. But if we can, if we can find a way to give ourselves that time,
Mhm.
give us ourselves like that gift of a little bit of peace on
Mhm.
our own. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, how much change would that create? And maybe there's a way. Maybe there's a way, Lily, and you and I can work together to give people, help people find a way. And everybody's different. Just to give
But I
them.
think you nailed it. I think you have to work for it. I think you have to work for
You
peace,
do, you do.
not just work for cash, work for money, work a job, work a career, work at your marriage. I think you have to work for peace.
You know, to me. You're absolutely right. And anything that's worth anything, and peace is probably worth more than anything out
Yes.
there. But
Yes.
anything that's worth anything, you gotta get to work,
You
folks,
got to get to work.
right? You gotta do the work. And it's not just gonna land in your hat, in your lap. Years and years ago, gosh, ever since maybe I was in kindergarten, I learned the song "Let There Be Peace on Earth." You know that song,
Oh,
right? Let there be
yeah.
peace on earth and let it
Yeah.
begin with me. And for decades, I mean, I love that song, one of my favorite songs. But for decades, I interpreted that song as meaning, let there be world peace and let me start it, right? And it wasn't that long ago. I mean, we're talking less in months ago. I was listening to that song and I realized that it's not world peace. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. To me, I now interpret that as let peace on earth begin with my own peace.
Yes.
Let it begin with my own peace. If I can be at peace with myself, I can help other people with that. And if we help enough people, good things can happen, right?
Yeah. And it goes back to your aura. And what we were talking about is if I am at peace and I'm radiating my peace out through my aura, and I walk into a room or I walk into my living room, other people, your kids, your spouse, your whoever's there, is going to feel your peace. If you walk in with worry, they're going to feel your worry because the energetic piece is that it comes out or comes in the same way. Just like if you're around someone that is not peaceful, you're going to pick up that energy in your aura and bring that home. So it's like we can help the world. And I had to really wrap my head
Mm,
around that because I was feeling guilty.
yeah.
For a long time, I was like, I am not doing enough. I do not have a nonprofit. I am not doing this. I am not doing that. And I would just beat myself up. And I was like, you know what? If I can work on me and be a better version of me, then that means the two children I'm raising will be better versions of me, right?
Yes.
And then they will go out and be better versions. And, it's like, so it does, like what to your point, it does start with us, but we still have to conquer our own little demons, so to speak, or obstacles
Totally.
every day in order for that version of us to come out.
And you got to work at it.
Work,
Right?
work,
You gotta
work,
work at it every day.
work.
And you know what? The thing I love about you and what you shared with us is folks, an easy way to work on this every day is to take a bath or a shower.
Yeah.
And right, and
So
and
easy,
and just
right?
that, just that. And there's all kinds of other things that we can do. But start there. And
Yeah.
I wanted to say also, you're talking about aura and you're talking about energy. You know who the two beings on planet Earth that can sense your aura better than any adult can?
A dog?
Kids and animals,
Yeah, okay, good. Yes, I got
right?
one.
Right? I mean, if you walk in and you come in hot, I mean, your dog's gonna run up to you and jump all over, and then he's gonna, whoa, what's going on with this dude, right? And the kids are gonna be like, do I want you to be near me? And we've all experienced seeing somebody, and you've heard people say that person, they light up a room when they walk in. That's the aura, that's the energy,
It is.
right?
And
And
going back to the dogs, it's so interesting. When I was in my lower frequency or my lower vibe and not the best version of myself, in my late, I was probably in my mid 20s,
mhm.
because you have so much angst then. It's like, oh, what am I going to do when I
Oh
grow
my
up? And
God.
then who am I
Yeah.
dating? And then what am I doing with my life? I mean, all these questions. And it's like,
Teens and 20s, never again, thank goodness.
uh, and I remember being a really not that great dog owner because I've always had
Mm,
dogs. Okay. Because I remember like getting frustrated. And then it was really shown to me. He was like a really cool dog for age till 5 years. Okay. Like really cool dog. could go anywhere, go to any dog park, be off the leash. And all of a sudden, year 5, he turned aggressive and he had to have a muzzle, and I couldn't take him to the dog park anymore. And he was solo in the backyard. He lost his buddy. All these like negative changes happened. But when I look back at my life, then I was making some really only headed, only by my head decisions of my life. And I was only using my masculine energy, and I was only being like the direct line from A to Z. There was no flow, there was no
Ooh.
femininity, there was no, and my dog took all that inner angst that I had on. Now, he ended up living 12, 13 years, and he did find some friends through my parents' dogs that he could socialize with. But looking back, I'm
Wow.
like, you know what? That was my unbalanced energy.
Interesting. Interesting. And for you to be able to look back and see that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I was smoking
Wow.
cigarettes, drinking martinis. I was in credit card debt. I was constantly picking the wrong person to date over and over again, which I shouldn't really say that, because, the wrong people teach us how to date the right people.
Yeah.
So really, no
Every
one is
challenge
a
is growth.
mistake.
Yeah, that's right. But, I'll paraphrase what you just said. You were a mess, so your dog became a mess.
And I thought it was just the dog.
Is that right? Yeah. What's wrong with you?
What's
You
wrong
know,
with the dog?
you said that you're always working up here,
Yeah.
right? Um, we talked a little bit about this a little bit earlier, but we live in a society of so much change, and the Western culture is to do the next thing, right? I coined a phrase, Lillian, and the phrase
Tell me.
says, "We've gotten so smart, we've forgotten our heart." And
Oh,
and I've that's part of the reason why I retired. Is because I felt like in the business that I was in, that spirit wasn't there. The spirit of
yes.
really, really caring for people and taking care of them. It became, what are you gonna do next for the company?
Yeah.
And and 10 years ago, and again, I've always been in technology. 10 years ago, I started talking pretty widely about how I believe that technology is going to lead us at some point in time to a renaissance of the heart. And with the rise of AI, that's exactly what I'm seeing. Because the one thing that AI can never do, at least we can't envision it doing at this point in time, is human to human connection,
Yeah.
and the spirit, the spirituality that we've been talking about, and the energy, right? And so that I love having this conversation because it's where we're going. It's ironic that
It
it's
is.
technology that's gotten us so smart that caused us to forget our heart, but it's technology that's bringing us back, which is really
And
cool.
yeah, and we're going to have to really be intentional, which
There's that
is,
word again.
it is. It's like we're going to have to really be intentional about who we connect with and who we want to spend time with and who does get our limited time, right? Because I mean, if time is an illusion and you go big picture, then we have all the time in the world, we have all the money in the world, we have all the health in the world, right? So we could live in that big bubble, or we could just say, you know what, right now, my intention is I'm going to be 100% present with my child that needs me to cook dinner at this moment.
Presence.
Presence and intentions. Like, I intend, and then I love this. I like the Big Leap book a lot because
Mhm.
he always tells you, like, are you willing or are you committed? What stage are you in? Are you willing to try your
Yeah.
intentions or are you committed to your intentions? Like,
Yep.
I love that because I
I
always
love
ask
that too.
myself, I'm like, okay, right now I'm willing. Tomorrow we'll see if I feel committed or not.
Yeah. 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 That is wow. We have talked about so many different things. One thing I'd like to talk about before I let you go is um, how do you help folks? How do you help women develop what you call unshakable confidence and creating that life of freedom?
So, the biggest way I do it is I introduce them to their spirit voice. We have a lot of different conversation, a lot of different ways to really bring forth that inner voice that is telling them to go back to school, go get a massage, go walk in the park. That little voice that's talking to them that for maybe 40, 50 years, 10 years, doesn't matter. They just have batted off into the corner and said, I don't have time for that. I have a husband to serve, or I have a partner to serve, or I have school to do, and so I really, really start there, introducing them to their sweet, sweet spirit that guides them in the in the right direction. Then I introduce them to their ego, which is probably one that's been running their life. And those two voices really do make a difference of who lives a life that they love versus who is just living in the rat race, like you said. Because the ego keeps us in the rat race, and the spirit, since it's so quiet and gentle, they have to start to learn the difference between their spirit and their ego, or we just don't go anywhere. Because then it's just your advice or my advice or whatever, and that advice in the
Right.
end doesn't matter, right? What
Right.
matters is that they are listening to their own advice. But who is the advice coming from? Is it their spirit or their ego, or maybe their alter personality that they created because they had some kind of trauma way back and when? So
Or it
we
could be the
really,
universe.
or the universe, I mean, it could be, you got to be able to listen. And so I teach them
Yes.
that. And once they get that, man, we're off to the races. Okay.
Huge, huge. Oh my gosh, that's huge. And we've seen this. What I was thinking about were the cartoons, right? Where Porky Pig or Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse, right? Whatever.
Yes.
The
Yes.
little angel shows up on the Mickey Mouse angel shows up on their left shoulder, and then the Mickey Mouse devil shows up on the right, and they start having this little fight, right? But that's what it is. I mean, I'm really oversimplifying it because
I know, but they're still using it today. I mean, I'm watching this
they are,
terrible
yeah.
not Netflix not documented, Netflix dubbed show. Okay, it's horrible, but I love it. It's only eight. It's only eight. It's one of those like you can't turn it off, but it's so bad it's good.
Okay.
And it's in another language. Don't even know what language it's in. But they literally still are doing. Yesterday's episode was the little devil and the little angel and talking to her, and she
Yeah,
couldn't figure out herself. And like that is still to this day a
totally.
struggle for
Totally.
everyone,
Forever. And it will be
forever.
forever. And the thing that I've learned in my life is that the opposite of ego is humility.
Hmm.
To me, I mean, it is very, very clear. The strongest man I know in my life is about this tall, and he's an eighth degree black belt, and he's my karate sensei.
Wow.
And he is the strongest person I know, and yet he's the most humble person I've ever met. And I learned from him that humility is born of strength and ego is born of weakness or insecurity.
Insecurity. Yeah, I
And
agree.
but you're so right. We for I think that a lot of people get to the point. I mean, for me, I learned, and this is probably in high school, I learned that when I listened to that voice, and I don't know what caused me to go from not listening to that little voice to listening to it, but
Uh-huh.
the strangest thing was that it was when I was driving. And this is not going to happen to
Mhm.
all you folks, right? So do not use this as the example for your life. But I found that whenever that little voice came up and said, "Keep going because that light's going to stay green," that damn light stayed green.
Oh yeah. That's
And
a great example for people. I have a lot of people that get a lot of messages while driving. So I think that's more common than you think. And I think our spirit guides come in and talk to us too when we're driving and we're alone. And, and that could be a whole nother thing that we talk about in the future. But it's, it's that solitude time again. It's that alone time again. It's like, okay, if you really get it and turn off the radio, sit in silence, you will start to hear
you,
your
yes,
voice, not just mine
yes.
talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And, go for a long drive. Just hit the road. Just go for a long, it's amazing, Lillian. When I go for a long drive, and by the way, I'm going to do that. Um, Turn off the stuff that comes into your
Yeah,
head. It's
yeah.
amazing. It's wonderful. And so, and I feel like we're talking about solitude but this has all been about coming back into ourselves,
It is.
which is really amazing. Um, my hope, and yes, you had alluded to maybe in a future episode we could talk about the spirit voice and some of
Yeah.
that stuff. I would love to have you back,
Oh, good. Thank
because
you.
this has been so much fun. Um,
You're so easy
and
to talk to. I can see why people love your podcast so much.
oh,
Because you,
I just have a big mouth. I just like to talk, and but yeah,
so do I.
this has just been so cool. Um, and we do have so much to talk about. And the thing I love about it is that you've given us things. I mean, I just talked about get in your car by yourself. You said turn off the radio and just drive, right?
Yeah.
Go someplace. And you talked about getting in the shower and and by the way, when you could find yourself, this takes a little bit of practice, but we've been talking about a lot of work. You could find yourself in that space of not listening to your radio and just being by yourself on your morning commute,
Oh,
right?
perfect. Yes,
And I
yes.
mean, just make it part of your day. I mean, you're going to spend that time anyway. Why spend that time being pissed off at the world? It just hurts your own spirit. Um, and,
Well,
and
and
so anyway, yeah.
while you're on that, let's give one little tip from when you're coming home from work, which I really think is
Yes,
very
yes.
important to share because you spend all the day, if you are commuting and going to an office and you have a lot of people, or even if you're home by yourself and then all of a sudden comes into your house, it's really good to shift the energy before you even get into the house. So like if you refuse to, like, let's say, turn off the radio, so you keep the radio on, but then you roll down the windows and you take your little hands and you just pick stuff off of your energy field and throw it out the window, right? Or you roll your windows down and let the wind cleanse your aura. If you are in a job that has like clothes that are dirty, then you would take off your clothes, let's say like in the garage, and then you go into the house. So you can do little tips and tricks. You always, always, always wash your hands after your work day. Like I will wash my hands after even our podcast so that the rest of the day I don't take you with me and you don't take me
Ah,
with you.
okay.
Right? I know. It's like, why wouldn't people want, your little buddy hanging around? But if you look at it from an energetic exchange, if
It's
you're
you.
bringing work home, right, then why would you want that if you're not that happy at work? So you start to change your intentions and clean off before you come in the house. So I'm going to take your advice, but I'm not going to take your energy.
And and maybe the first thing you do is you get into the shower.
That's right.
Take
We
a
love a shower.
shower, right? I mean,
Or
I mean,
you take a dip in your pool.
yeah,
See, all the
yeah.
spiritual tools now don't have to be like spiritual. They can just be intentional. And
There,
that way you are
I
having a
love
spiritual
that.
practice.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Doesn't have to be spiritual. And I get it. There's a lot of folks out there who have their own experiences, their own biases, their own beliefs.
Yep.
Um, this is this, and that's one of the reasons why I like this so much is because we've just given practical things people can do. Because I'll tell you something. I mean, if I'm doing this and I'm in my head and in my spirit, there that goes that word again. But I'm just
Yeah.
washing the day off, right? Do you remember? You might not be old enough to remember this, but there was a shampoo commercial that says, "I'm gonna wash that man right out of
Right
my
out of my
hair."
hair. I am old
Yeah,
enough.
right.
And do you know what that shampoo did too? Not only is that, but I would put it in the dirt as a kid in Louisiana. I would squeeze it into the dirt when we were outside in the pool and put the hose on it, and all the worms would come up out of the ground. I used to think that was so cool. Like looking back now, I'm like, probably not the smartest thing to do. Well,
And you sit there and go, "What's in this stuff?"
I know there's going to be a meaning that you'll figure out later about putting
Yeah.
shampoo in the ground, the worms coming up, and let me know what it is.
Oh, this has been so much fun. All right, you guys, we have talked about a lot of things, and um, Lillian, this has been amazing. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
A
You're
couple,
amazing. I hope
couple of
your
the,
people like it.
yeah, a
And
couple. Everybody's going to get something out of this.
good.
I do believe. But we talked about just some things to summarize with folks. Growth through challenge. Okay, what that means is that if you're not challenged, if you're not going through the bullshit in life, we all try to avoid it. But you know what? And it's okay to avoid it, but it's going to happen. Life's not fair. Shit happens.
Yeah,
That's where we grow. Intentions and presence and listening to that little voice and taking that shower in the bath and enjoying it, right? I mean,
that's right.
water is therapeutic. And, remembering about the ego versus humility, right?
Perfect. Yes.
Which one do you want to be? Wow, there and so much more. Those are just a few of the notes that I wrote down as we were talking. Lillian, okay, so if people want to reach you, if people want to learn more about what you have to offer, learn more about you, how can they do that?
So Awake and Change podcast. I have a podcast too, which I love. And so that's been really fun for me to just kind of share some experiences, spiritual experiences, career, life, love. Love that. I do. I am launching my community, so you'll have to stay tuned. But check on
Wonderful.
awakenchange.com, and that's coming very, very soon. Very soon. So
Awakenchange.com. That is a cool
mhm.
URL. I love that. I love
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, listen, Lillian Savoie, awakenchange.com. Check it
That's
out.
me.
Lillian, you've been amazing. You are amazing. I love you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
So are you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
All of
take
you out
care.
there, thank you again for joining us. I love you. God bless you. Please share this with somebody. Someone out there needs to hear this, and they're starving for it. Okay. Until next time. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.